I just got out of the shower. Alright. Hi. It's okay. Just pick a topic and talk about it for 10 minutes. You're gonna be fine. So my last video was incredibly random. Yesterday morning, I happened to be listening to Tyler, the Creator's new album, which is getting me from all fronts. Like, the album is so good. As I was listening to it, I happened to click on the CNN link and watch this video on Twitter. And as I watched that video, the Who Dat Boy started playing, and the video and the song like aligned. And I like, at first, I forgot that I was listening to an album, and I thought CNN had edited this like really dramatic retelling of the Senate hearing, and I was like, no, this isn't them. This is the song that's playing in the background. I had no choice but to edit it together. And of course, this random video on my channel, it's just a weird kind of, you know, meme-ish thing, got far more attention than anything I've spent actual time on. And that's weird, and it's tricky, but here we are. If only everything could be that easy. Guys, I'm having a very weird hair day. As I'm getting older, I'm realizing that there's a lot of stuff I need to start taking care of in order to be like comfortable with my future, and that has led to me meeting with people and discussing like financial things like life insurance and 401ks and like, you know, stuff. If I'm ever to a point of like, if I'm ever disabled by something, like, is there an amount of money set aside to help me get through whatever period of time I need to get through? And right now that answer is no. That answer is like, no, that stuff isn't there. And I'm really frustrated because it seems like there's a lot that my education as a citizen of the world should have taught me. Like high school, college, there's many moments where those places, those institutes had the ability to teach me like, hey, here's some stuff you should actually know about. Here's how 401ks work. Here's how, here's how student loans work. Here's how this is going to affect you for the remainder of your life. And here's things that you could do to like prepare for when you get older, because when you get older, you know, things happen. Added bonus being an only child is that there is the added concern of like, when your parents reach a certain age, like, is there money set aside to take care of them from their perspective and from yours? Like, if you have siblings, those sorts of costs and things could be kind of decided amongst you. But when you're an only child, there's this added pressure of like, all right, well, I also have to be concerned like for things within my family down the road. Like, how are these things going to be handled? But the frustrating part is actually looking back at how much time I spent in high school and college studying these same things, like history, which is important, and math, which is important, and science, which is all important. They are important things, but you spend so much time on those things, and you get to a point where you're in your late 30s, and you're wondering, like, what has all of that math education actually done for me? Like, where can I apply it? All that science and biology and chemistry and rock study and all these gen ed courses, like, where did that get me if that's not my field of study, if that's not something I'm pursuing? And it's frustrating because it seems like the education system in this country isn't designed to actually prepare you for adulthood and being you know, a person who's going to mature into old age. It's really just kind of to get you through the basics and to set in you this idea that you're gonna live in a world where you get up in the morning and you live through this thing. And even like, I'm pretty sure the entire education system, the idea of like listening to a bell and moving on to your next thing, was all to prepare the working class to know how to deal within that environment of like doing hard labor and like working through the day and responding to like bells and whatever. I want to tell you, if you land on this video, these are things that like are so easy to take care of as soon as you have the ability. For a lot of people, myself included, I didn't have, even if I had known about these things sooner or was as concerned about them sooner, I didn't necessarily have the means to start feeding them. I didn't have the means to set aside money to push into like a weird place of saving. But the second you do, the second you have it, it's like really almost imperative that you do things to look out for yourself in the future. But as I think we're recognizing in general, there are a lot of systems in place right now in this country that are so frustratingly out of whack that people don't understand how things work or how they're supposed to work. It's, can you tell how hot it is? I am sweating. But that's where I'm at. Struggling to be an adult and make adult decisions with money and save money and spend money wisely and prepare for whatever's going to happen. I think the other weird conundrum for our generation is like, where are things going to be when I'm 65 years old? Like, what's this world and this country going to look like? Like, how? I can't even be guaranteed that the money I set aside will actually be there. It's just, you're winging it. You're taking a giant, gamble. Insurance is a gamble in a lot of ways. But the other side of it is if you don't invest, you don't put that money aside and something happens and it's not there, that you're even more screwed. And these are the things we deal with, you know? Sorry, I'm not trying to bum you out. Like, this isn't about like bumming people out. It's just about you should be prepared. If you can, just trust me, when you reach this age, like suddenly it's like, wait, where did all of this stuff come from? The other element is nobody tells you anything about credit, right? But credit is a system that you are sort of almost born into. There's no escaping it. Our entire financial system is basically being held up by this imaginary system. If you don't know how to play that game and how to work with it, you're SOL at some point. And a lot of people make very bad credit decisions early on, and it literally feels like a game. This massive multi-online player game that you don't know you're playing until all of a sudden you know you're playing it. And you're like, oh, whoa, okay, like here we are. How does this work? In the entirety of my education, no one thought to mention, oh, by the way, you're gonna reach an age where like your credit score is really important, and I know like no one's really gonna tell you about that. So if you just follow me, there's some things you should know, and I want to educate you so that like when you get into your 30s, you're not like kind of all of a sudden like smacked over the head. How do you make it through an entire education in the United States without learning about the very fundamental financial systems that keep your adulthood afloat? It's But like, here's the thing. I barely know what I'm talking about. All I know is that I'm learning about things right now and taking things seriously in a way that, like, wow, like, if somebody had sat me down several years ago and said, hey, like, not only here's these things that are important, here's how they work, but here's why they're important, and here's what we could do to prepare for them. That would have been super helpful, but it didn't happen. And I imagine it doesn't happen for a lot of people because it sadly feels like the system in place isn't designed for us all to be successful at it. It's designed so that those who seek out the correct information to be successful are the ones who will reap the benefits, if that makes any sense. I don't know. This is how hot my room is right now. You see that? So I'm gonna go. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and like this video. Check out yesterday's CNN remix of Who Dat Boy, and I hope you're having a great day. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time.